Arcane is a series that I have been a fan of for quite a while, and I've been sitting here like clawing desperately at the air as I've been waiting for the second season. Granted, it's over now, but as I was writing it, it was not over yet. Anyway, now, before I start this episode, I just wanted to let you know that this was written before the final batch came out, and the final batch is out by the time this video is published. So please be kind and know that I've watched it, I just haven't had time to write about it yet. Also, I have a pretty big announcement as we are reaching 1K subs. Stick to the end of the video to hear that. Anyway, I just wanted to start this off with, wow. You know, the first season of Arcane has been considered one of my favorite shows for a long time. However, feeling it come to an end is beginning to feel unreal, as if it shouldn't be happening. It's wrong, in a sense. It's the same feeling I got when AOT was ending. Now, Arcane is a series based off of a certain game called League of Legends, which is insane to me because it is so rare that video games being turned into shows end up good. I'm impressed. The reason I loved this show so much originally was because of how raw and emotional it was. It was not afraid of being what it was as a show, and I respect the hell out of that. Now, what is Arcane about? Well, in 10 words or less, Arcane is a show about two sisters fighting. All jokes aside, Arcane is a series that delves deep into the idea of a broken society. The poor and the weak being separated by the wealthy and the strong. This division is something we learn about in the first episode of the first season, which is carried out throughout the rest of the series. The Undercity is struggling and filled with crime and mischief. It may be the ugly side of the nation, but it is also the foundation of it. The Upper City being the nice little cherry on top. The frosting that covers the ugliness of the mess of a cake that it harbors beneath. I'm not going to get too into detail with all of this because it is important, but it's not necessarily the point of this video. Long story short, the Undercity is sick of being treated poorly, with a lot of civilians who live there being sick, poor, and homeless, scrounging about for what they can to survive. An interesting substance that comes up is Shimmer. It's clearly a drug, but it affects the citizens in horrible ways, morphing their bodies and mutating them seemingly beyond repair. Shimmer is an important thing to this story. We learn right away that two of the characters who will be central to the story, they lost their parents to the Enforcers. The Enforcers are the military of the Upper City. There's injustice in the world and we want to change it. That's season 1. Now, I know that's pretty vague, but I'm assuming if you're here, you've either seen Arcane before or are vaguely curious about the show, so I'm not going to go over season 1 bit by bit. Season 1 ends with Jinx shooting a missile at the capital as they were about to call for peace with the Undercity from a civil war of sorts that had sprung about. Season 2 picks right up after the fact. I want to say that I am enjoying this season very much so far, and I'm intrigued to see where they take it. And kind of retconning here, I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but I was sobbing at the end of season 2 now that I've watched it. The first thing I want to talk about is Mel. Mel is a council member and the daughter of Ambessa, a warlord and stateswoman from Noxus, which is another country, if I'm remembering correctly. If not, feel free to correct me in the comments. Anyway, I want to bring her up because her story has been interesting to me since the beginning. She's a noble who seems to be interested in progress, yet isn't bloodthirsty like a lot of others may be. Her mother. I've been interested in her development in particular because she seems to be resisting following the path her mother follows. She's against what her mother is for, and I find that interesting. Recently, we found out someone was after Ambessa and that she's in Piltover because she's attempting to avoid this. The people who were after her got a hold of Mel, and we soon learned that Ambessa had an affair. Her illegitimate child was supposedly had something special about them, and we're led to believe that this is Mel. Originally, the Black Rose, is that what they were called? Feel free to correct me. They thought that the child was Mel's brother, which got him killed. Now their eyes are set on Mel as we see a strange sequence of her breaking out of their control, which turns out to be magic. Later on, it turns out that Mel has the arcane within her body and she's a sorcerer. Also, The whole thing with her mother and with her finally breaking Black Rose away and ending up killing her mother. That part kind of hurt, gonna be real. The second person I want to talk about is Jace, because oh my god, they love being mean to this poor guy, this poor man. Jace has been having a rough time from the start. He's an inventor who wants to bring good to the world. He wants to bring progress. However, with progress comes evil. Nothing good can come without evil lurking in the shadows behind it. Jace has been experimenting with creating magic, something he gets in trouble for pretty early on. However, with help from his husband, his buddy Victor, they eventually prove that it can be helpful. In the coming years, it continues to improve and evolve. However, as Jace gains power, he gains the responsibility to use that power along with it. Victor and him promised to not use their inventions as weapons. However, as the Undercity began to revolt and attack, he felt as if he had no choice. Eventually, he goes to the center of where their concentrations of hex tech, that's what their invention was called, by the way, whoopsies, and sees that it's been evolving. It's evolving, but it's unstable. It gets to the point where he ends up going, well, okay. I retconned this part. In my original script, I thought he was insane, but, like, from the last batch of episodes, he's clearly not insane. I was just a little confused about it. But I will say I really appreciate where they went with Jace, because in the end, he was out to destroy what he created. He was out to fix the wrongs and to save Victor from himself. We'll get to that a little bit later. The third person I want to talk about is Victor. I gotta say, I love Victor so much. He's so cute. Like, he's adorable in my opinion. And he was Jace's partner in crime. They worked on hex tech together and bonded over it. Victor has always been a sickly person, and he's always wanted to save himself from that. We learn that he doesn't have very long to live. He begins to mess with the hex tech in almost a desperate attempt, before noticing that his blood reacted to it, to organic matter. So he kept messing with it in an attempt to save himself. He ends up doing so, however, his assistant gets absorbed into the hex tech as a result. After the explosion, Jace put him in a wall of hex tech-esque material in an attempt to save him, and in a sense, Victor merged with it. He's alive, and he's more than he was before. He's evolved. He's connected. Victor leaves Jace and goes into the Undercity before beginning to cure those who have been affected by the Shimmer, saving them in his eyes. The fifth person I want to talk about is Caitlin. Oh boy, Kate. She was really hurting me at the beginning of this season. When the rocket hit the capital, Kate lost her mother, which in itself is heartbreaking. But not only that, it was Vi's sister who did it. Vi, the girl she loved. The girl who changed her perspective on the people who lived in the Undercity. The people who used to be nothing more than undignified slobs, in a sense, to her. The girl who won her heart. It was so hard to see Caitlin begin to devolve in this season. It hurt because she had come so far and it felt like we were losing her. I know she lost her mother and she was hurt, but it was still hard to watch, especially being thrusted into the role of a leader at such a delicate and unstable moment. I will say I appreciate how the rest of the season handled her, as it felt like she came back to us. I just really appreciated it. I'm not gonna get too far into that. The fifth person I want to talk about is Vi. Vi is missing for a lot of the beginning episodes, of the second batch at least, which made me uncomfortable the first time watching, because it felt so odd not to see her be up in the fray, up there fighting. When we finally do see her, we see how badly things have gone down with her and Kate being gone. The meme going around with the 7 years in prison versus 7 days without a girl are very funny to me. You know what else is very funny to me? Hitting that like and subscribe button. It keeps videos like this coming out in the future, and I really appreciate it. Anyway, back to the video. Vi has also devolved, in a sense. Her mental health has clearly deteriorated as she has put herself in a fighting ring to both make money, I guess, but mostly to take out her frustrations. It's interesting because I feel like until now, even though we could sense something bubbling beneath, there was always at least somewhat of a face that Vi kept up. Like, sure, she got emotional easily, but like, this was when she broke. Seeing her doing so poorly mentally and feeling so shitty about herself really hurt in this moment. And I just want to put in here that something that kind of made me a little sad. I don't talk about Echo in my script at all because he hadn't really shown up much in this series or in this batch before, but something that really makes me sad is the fact that, at least in my opinion, I guess, it feels like if Vi had been the one who died that evening instead of Vander Clagger and I can't remember his name. But if she had died instead of those two, things would have gone a lot better, which is shitty to say, and it feels really wrong, but that's what it feels like the series was trying to tell us, and it just kind of makes me sad, because like, Powder's okay, Vander's okay, the other guy's okay, Echo's okay, mostly, the other two are alive, Vander's alive, I know I already said that, but the only one who suffered from that was Vi, and that's interesting to me. Anyway, the sixth person I want to talk about is Jinx. Oh, Jinx. You know, I understood the hype around her before, but I never truly appreciated it until this season. Because in the first season, yes, it was so interesting to see how much this poor girl had gone through, to see how much guilt and trauma can fuck with your brain, to see how a person like Silco may have been considered evil to others, yet he still cared for this girl he found like his own daughter. That alone speaks volumes to me. I pity him, and I pity Jinx. However, seeing the same thing happen to Jinx is the part that warms my heart. She's finally understanding something both Vander and Silco did. There's nothing more undoing than a daughter. To bring you up to speed if you're unaware, Jinx saved a girl and the girl ended up following Jinx. Jinx ends up getting attached to this girl and seeing her as a little sister or even a daughter. It changes her, which is why I love Arcane so much. It shows that characters that are supposedly bad aren't always the worst people to ever exist. Yes, they can suck, but most of the time, they're human too. There's always a story behind a villain. Anyway, Jinx figured out Vander is still alive, but mutated, and she goes out to find Vi. She ends up doing so, and the two end up finding Vander. They take him to a place where he can get healing, and end up at a little sanctuary that Victor ended up making. Victor is able to fix Vander's mind, and Vander is back, if a little mutated. As they're doing so, Kate and her army begin to go out to find Vander as he's a powerful weapon that Ambessa wants. Some things happen, Kate and Vi make up as they betray Ambessa, blah blah blah, and Jace walks into camp. Then he kills Victor, or supposedly, and everyone who had been cured and saved by him dies, if they weren't dead already. Vander's mind reverts to the animalistic one, and Jinx's daughter, the one she has grown so fond of, Isha. She sacrifices herself with a bomb that Jinx made in an attempt to save everyone else. And that's how they ended that batch. Yippee! Now, keep in mind that there's a lot I left out, as there's just a lot in Arcane in general. Overall, I really enjoyed the series. I have a lot that I still need to talk about. I might go over it here, so forgive me if my thoughts are a little erratic because I don't have it written down versus usual. This is one of the most intense things I have watched in quite a while. Now, some of the things that I didn't go over in my script that I kind of want to talk about still is the whole situation with Victor and Jace, because as we see, wherever Jace gets transported, I'm not really sure, maybe a future time, he sees what Hextech, or I guess Victor in general, has done to the world. It leaves it in shambles, because as we learn during this sequence, we learn that Victor is wanting to make a perfect world. A world where nobody suffers. a world where there's no strife, no mistakes, as it were. And in doing so, he destroys what he's trying to fix. And that is something future him has realized. So he sends Jace to stop himself. And in the end, we get Victor back. He realizes what is to come in the future if he keeps doing what he's doing. And in the end, he and Jace sacrifice themselves to destroy what they created. I am the monster you created. Anyway, I may have a little bit more to say about this, like next week or something. Oh boy. Anyway, thank you guys so much for liking. Please remember to like and subscribe. Once again, we're creeping up to that 1K sub mark. Please make sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell notification for videos to come. I will be doing video suggestions from one of you guys in honor of this milestone. Make sure to leave your suggestions in the comments below to be considered. I also want to let you all know that I have been considering selling stickers. I know it's not a lot, but if I can get the materials, I would love to start making merch of some kind. Please let me know if this would be something you are interested in. I'm gonna hopefully figure out a way to do that. I'm so excited to get that started. Anyway, thank you guys all so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and as always, I will see you all next time.